I want to thank our guest today, Ryan from Community Futures, for coming on and talking about the program. Ryan has agreed to stay on and answer some questions from callers. So, let's go to caller 1. Abby?
Hi, I see on your advertising the Canadian flag and a sponsored by a federal government department. But you said in the interview you are a nonprofit agency. I'm a little confused. Which is it? Government agency or a nonprofit?
We are a nonprofit agency. All of our decisions are made by a board of directors that represents the communities in our regions. Each Community Futures office in rural Canada has their own set of directors that are independent. The government doesn't direct any Community Futures office as to which projects to take on. The government provides us with some of our funding, which we do recognize in our advertising.
Great. Thank you, caller. Let's move on to our next caller. Go ahead, caller 2. Glenn?
Yeah, just to follow up on something you said, if the government is giving you this money, why not do every small business loan application?
That's one of the misconceptions of our loan funds. They aren't topped off every year by the federal government. Each office was given a set amount of money to provide loan assistance when we first were established. Those funds were for entrepreneurs that, for whatever reason, weren't able to find funds somewhere else. So if those loans don't get repaid, then we lose that money forever and we're unable to provide assistance to some other projects. The money we do receive every year is for operations, to cover things like staff salary, office rent and utilities, and so on.
That's interesting, Ryan. So does the fact that you don't get additional loan funding make you more cautious about who to lend to?
Not at all. If you look at our loans, we tend to take on riskier loans than a bank or a credit union. There's a number of reasons why they may be riskier, such as location or lack of capital or experience or anything else. I can only speak for my Community Futures, but I'm sure other offices feel similarly, that we want our loan dollars fully used and in our communities, making a difference in terms of economic development and creating jobs. But we still have to do our due diligence to make sure a project is feasible, no different than what any other financial institute would do.
I see. Thank you, Glenn, for your question. Next on the line is Juliana. Go ahead, Juliana.
Yes, I don't have a question as much as a comment. I went there a while back and I was given the runaround. They asked me for all this documentation that slowed everything down. I don't believe they were there to help me.
Ryan, do you want to respond?
Absolutely. I don't know the specifics of this caller's case, and even if I did, I couldn't talk about it because we would honor her confidentiality. In terms of paperwork, we really aren't that different from other financial institutions. The terms may be different, like feasibility study for a business plan.
Is there one aspect of the documentation that some people find more troublesome than others?
Well, the business plan seems to stop a lot of people in their tracks, but there are a lot of resources out there that can help with that, like our offices, economic development agencies, and even consultants. In the end, the business plan is more for the client than us because it gets them to think about the issues that may come up while running their business. But I'm not dismissing its importance to us either. If you're asking to borrow money, the basic questions on how you plan to use that money are not too much to ask for, and all of that is covered in the business plan.
Thank you. Looks like we have time for one more question. Bruce?
You called your office a community development corporation, but all I've heard about is business loans. Are there other things your office does?
The loans are important in helping economic development in communities in terms of creating business opportunities and jobs, but we also offer assistance on projects that help make our communities more attractive places to live and work in. Our projects range from beautifying parks to assisting agencies in downtown revitalization initiatives or coming up with strategic plans for communities. If a person was looking for a place to start a business, they would look for a community that they want to live in as well as work in. We also host training sessions on a variety of issues, like writing a business plan, financial planning, marketing, and too many more to mention. If you're wondering if we can help, give your local Community Futures office a call. If they can't, I'd be willing to bet that they will find someone out there who can help you.
Well, that's all the time we have for today, but a big thank you to Ryan from Community Futures.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. If you wonder if Community Futures can help with your business or project, don't hesitate to call the nearest one in your community.